Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire Ashtukayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, continuing with the discussion on the third verse of first canto, first chapter of Bhagavatam. Prabhupada, so far we discussed about rasa, different types of rasa or the mallows that gives us pleasure, gives us bliss. Anyway, let me discuss a couple of questions that I received yesterday. One question was, what is all these three different conversations because I said the conversations happen between Sud Goswami and the sages of Naimisharanya. All the 88,000 sages of Naimisharanya, they chose Shaunak Rishi as a leader to ask the questions. Because it would have been a very big commotion if all 88,000 sages would start asking questions. So they had full faith in Shaunak Rishi, so they chose Shaunak Rishi. So another conversation that happens is between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. The first conversation happened in Naimisharanya, and the Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj, this conversation happened at Shukratal. And third conversation that takes place is between Maitreya Muni and Vidurji. That happened in Haridwar. Then the question was, in all these three conversations, Bhagavatam was spoken. Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam is not whatever we are listening to, like in this 18,000 verses, what we are reading. Bhagavatam is basically the stories of the pastimes of Krishna and his different incarnations and the teachings that we get from them. So in this Srimad Bhagavatam that we study, these three conversations happen at different times, but like from text number 4, we'll see, it starts with Naimisharanya. Sud Goswami and different sages, they're sitting down, and different stages start asking questions. And then Sud Goswami, and answering one of the questions, he says, this thing happened between Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Then he starts the story, starts narrating the story or incident of Shukdev Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. The first he talks about Parikshit Maharaj in detail. In detail he talks about Parikshit Maharaj. And then how he met Shukdev Goswami, how he got cursed by the Brahman, how he met Shukdev Goswami, how Shukdev Goswami started instructing him when Parikshit Maharaj asked questions. And in that conversation, further, it happens. Then I don't remember if Parikshit Maharaj asked question to Shukdev Goswami, or again Shaunak Rishi asked question to Sud Goswami. And then they answered, oh, okay, this question was answered by Vidurji when he met Maitreya Muni. So that conversation started. So then Bhagavatam takes us to that conversation. So it's all intertwined. So it's not like three different sets of Bhagavatam was being spoken. It's all intertwined and it's all different stories because Bhagavatam is a Puran. Puran means full of stories. And we get lots of instructions, and yet also at the same time, we get to relish the pastimes of Krishna. So once we go through it, you will see, it's not just like Bhagavad Gita is simple between Krishna and Arjuna, and that's it, instructions. Bhagavatam is different. It's different because it's lots of stories are there. But stories with purports of Prabhupada, including the instructions that we should receive from these stories, that is important. And another question I received was, I think that was on the group also. What about Krodha? Because we talked about different rasa. So the devotee asked, Krodha, is it a rasa? It's a secondary rasa. Five primary rasas are there: Shantras, Dasiras, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. And seven secondary rasas are there that we read. And Krodha or anger is one of the rasas. Rasa means to that something we relish, something we really enjoy and then get bliss out of it. So that's a rasa. Although in English it's difficult to describe rasa, in Hindi, one can still understand what rasa is. So anger is also one of the rasas because Krishna, basically the rasas are, Krishna is Akhil Rasamrit Murti. All the rasas are in him. And he likes to relish those rasas in reciprocation with his devotees. So all the rasas are basically there to give pleasure to Krishna, and in turn they give pleasure to devotees, the person they are relishing the rasa with. So anger is also one of the rasas, or one of the items that Krishna enjoys, and in turn the devotee also enjoys. Like I mentioned in my message that like Yashoda Maya, she got angry with Krishna when Krishna he broke the pot and gave the butter and the yogurt to all the monkeys. So Yashoda Maya was really angry. It wasn't like she was acting like she was angry. She was really angry, and she had the stick in her hand and she was going to beat up Krishna. So that anger is there. But main rasa is Vatsalya, and the secondary rasa in that case is anger. So Krishna really enjoyed that rasa. And when Krishna was enjoying, he was really crying and rubbing his eyes again and again. He wasn't acting like he was crying. He was really crying. He was really afraid. So that heightened the mood of Vatsalya between mother and the son. She put down her stick and she was really ready to embrace Krishna, but she was still angry. Why did you break the pot and feed the monkeys all this yogurt and butter? Because the pastime had to go on further. And similarly, Srimati Radharani gets angry with Krishna. Another example of anger is like Krishna's boyfriends, cowherd boyfriends. They sometimes get angry with Krishna because Krishna cheats while they are playing. So they get angry at Krishna that we are not going to let you play with us. You cheat. So this is Sakhya, main rasa, and the anger is a secondary rasa. And that heightens the pleasure. Because everybody is sitting around Krishna and then chanting Hare Krishna, and then, oh Krishna, you are a master, you are a Lord, and whatever you want. Krishna doesn't really enjoy that. For us, the beginners, that's a different story. But for those who are in the spiritual world, in Golok Dham with him, they are in different mode, they are in different relationship with Krishna. So sometimes they get angry and sometimes Krishna gets angry with them. So that's okay. That's the exchange of love between them. Same anger, when it gets perverted, then in the material world, that anger becomes different, because in spiritual world, everything is used in service of Krishna, even anger. But in material world, anger is used in our service. If my desires are not fulfilled, I get angry. If my expectations are not fulfilled, I get angry. If I don't get what I want, when I want, how I want, where I want, how much I want, I get angry. So that's different. In spiritual world, it's totally different. So anger is also one part of the rasa. Horror or chivalry, the different kinds of secondary rasas. So thanks for wonderful questions, because I also get to think about how to answer. So last paragraph of the third verse of first canto, first chapter. I'm going to mute everybody again. One should conclude, therefore, that the serious student of the rasa should receive the message of Bhagavatam in the chain of disciplic succession from Srila Shukdev Goswami, who describes the Bhagavatam from its very beginning and not whimsically to satisfy the mundaner who has very little knowledge in transcendental science. So Shukdev Goswami started speaking Bhagavatam from the very beginning. In fact, real beginning is from second canto of Bhagavatam, because in first canto of Bhagavatam, the scene was set about the stories of Bhagavatam. And when we study the second canto of Bhagavatam, we'll realize Shukdev Goswami starts speaking about the Virat Rupa, or the universal form of Krishna. How, and Parikshit Maharaj, he has a question. He had only 7 days in his life left. And he wants to know about the pastimes of Krishna. And Shukdev Goswami started speaking about from the universal form of Krishna. To make sure that Parikshit Maharaj, not only Parikshit Maharaj, because there are so many sages also sitting in the audience, and not everybody was a devotee. There were so many impersonalist sages also in the audience when Shukdev Goswami was speaking. And moreover, this Bhagavatam is meant for people like us who are in mundane world, still in material consciousness. So that to avoid misunderstanding the position of Krishna and his devotees, especially gopis, Shukdev Goswami started speaking about the Aishwarya or the opulence of Krishna first. How Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How Krishna, everything is contained within Krishna. How everything is not separate from Krishna, away from Krishna, or how everything is under the jurisdiction of Krishna, so that we don't misunderstand that Krishna is just an ordinary teenage boy in Vrindavan and dancing with others' wives, or stealing butter and yogurt and playing all these tricks. Those are his pastimes. The position of Krishna, first Shukdev Goswami had to establish. So that's why Prabhupada is writing, Shukdev Goswami, who describes the Bhagavatam from its very beginning and not whimsically to satisfy the mundaner who has very little knowledge in transcendental science. So it wasn't meant just to satisfy some mundaners that, okay, I know, people just generally they say, oh, I know all about Krishna. Well, the one who says, I know all about Krishna, he actually knows nothing about Krishna. One who knows a lot about Krishna, he will say, I don't know anything about Krishna. Because Krishna is unlimited. His pastimes, his attributes, his qualities, his dealings with his devotees, his names, his forms, they are unlimited. Unlimited, literally unlimited. So with our tiny brain, how much we can understand Krishna? The only to the extent we can understand Krishna is by his mercy, whatever he wants us to understand, we can understand. Otherwise, there is no other way to understand Krishna. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam only that Ananta Shesha has thousands of hoods. And on all the hoods, all these material universes are kept just like a mustard seed on the hood of Ananshesha. That's how huge Ananshesha is. And Ananshesha, through thousands of his hoods, he is trying to sing the glories of Krishna since times immemorial, and he hasn't even reached 1% of the glories of Krishna. Because glories of Krishna are not static, that there is a just from 0 to 100, that's a glories. No. His glories, his qualities, his attributes are always increasing. That is spiritual world. There is no limit. So first of all, we cannot approach whatever he has right now, and then all his strengths, all his powers, all his glories, all his attributes, all his qualities, they're always increasing. Just like somebody asked a question to Srila Prabhupada, that Prabhupada, can Krishna make something so heavy that he himself cannot lift? So it's a very tricky question. Can he make something so heavy that he cannot lift? So it was like if Prabhupada said, yes, he can make something so heavy he cannot lift, then it was like Krishna is not omnipotent. And if Prabhupada said, no, he cannot make something that he cannot lift, then means again he has limited strength, that he has limitation, that he cannot make something. So there is not anything that he cannot do. So Prabhupada answered it very, very carefully and very logically. Srila Prabhupada answered, yes, Krishna can make something that he cannot lift, but next moment he will lift it. So means his qualities or his strengths are always increasing. There is no limit to it. We cannot understand because we are limited by time and space in the material world. Our intelligence is very, very limited. But Krishna is not limited. He is unlimited in every single way, every sense. He is unlimited. And because these impersonalist philosophers, they cannot understand, they cannot conceive of something which is unlimited and still has a form. So they believe God has no form. Again, that is putting a limitation on God. Why can't he has a form? They say he cannot have a form. This is a limitation. You cannot say he's limited. Why can't he have a form? But at the same time, he also, one of the aspect is Brahmjyoti, impersonal feature. That's also his aspect. Personal feature is also his aspect. So there is nothing that he cannot do. That is putting a limitation on him. But this is what this, with our little knowledge, with our little intelligence, limited perception, we cannot understand. And this is the way to understand Krishna when we understand that we cannot understand. It's an oxymoron to say. He is inconceivable. But the way to conceive of him is when we understand he is inconceivable. That's how we understand him. He is inconceivable. We cannot understand him. Only by his mercy, when he is pleased by our service, to understand him, he gives us his mercy, the capability, the knowledge, the intelligence to understand him. We can understand him in the proportion that we are surrendered to him. That's all. So everybody is actually in their understanding of him, everybody is actually right. Because this is how much they have surrendered. So this is how he has given them the intelligence to understand him. So that's how much they can understand him. So they are right. Even impersonalists, in their understanding, they are right, because this is how much they've been given intelligence. But personalists who are devotees, they understand him more in a better way. That's all. Impersonalists can only go up to Brahmjyoti because this is how much they have been given understanding to understand Krishna. That's how much they are surrendered. So that's how they get. That's how much they get. Devotees go further. They understand personal feature, they understand Paramatma feature, they understand Brahm Jyoti feature. They understand all three. So they're also correct. So it's our limitation. Our limitation is not his limitation. We have to come to this understanding. So, last line of this purport, Srimad Bhagavatam is so carefully presented that a sincere and serious person can at once enjoy the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge simply by drinking the nectarian juice through the mouth of Shukdev Goswami or his bona fide representative. The sincere and serious person can at once enjoy the ripened fruit of Vedic knowledge. This is how Srimad Bhagavatam is presented. By drinking the nectarian juice, it's a nectar. Nectar means amrit. Means, first of all, the juice is amrit, means it's not going to vanish or get destroyed. And the person who drinks the juice also gets amrit, also becomes amrit. Nectarian juice through the mouth of Shukdev Goswami or his bona fide representative. Bona fide representative means one who doesn't change the message. He gives the message, he can change the way of presentation, just like we are trying to read Srimad Bhagavatam not in a class scenario, we are trying to study Bhagavatam on video call. So the process is different to understand. But still the message, I hope I won't change the message that is given in the purports of Srila Prabhupada. So that is the quality of a bona fide representative. He doesn't change the message. Srila Prabhupada also, he gave different examples to explain the meaning of different verses or different philosophical points, but he did not change the message that he received from his predecessor acharyas. So that is the beauty of a bona fide representative. And the word is representative. We are all representatives. We are not the original speakers, and we are not the original commentators. Nothing. We are just representing Shukdev Goswami, or we are representing Srila Prabhupada, or like when we, like in the temple, when we sit on that seat and try to explain, so that seat is called Vyas Asana. So Vyas Asana means we are representing or trying to represent Srila Vyasadeva, who's the original compiler of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's already 8:55. I'll stop here. Anybody has any questions or comments? I'll from next verse, the theme of verses will start. So I'll post the theme for first 2-3 chapters. So then we'll try to cover those theme of verses, a group of verses in 1 or 2 sittings. Let's see how it goes, because half an hour lecture. Let's see how many verses we can cover. We'll not go through each and every line of the purport, but that'll take very long time, 18,000 verses. So we'll try to cover the theme, so everybody is requested to go over the purports on their own before coming to the class. So thank you all very much. Anybody has any questions or comments? What's that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, in the rasas, the 12 rasas that are mentioned, in fact, there is a rasa which is Sringara. And when we talked of primary rasa and secondary rasa, we talked about Madhurya. So Madhurya is not mentioned in this purport. Is it the same thing as Sringara, or?
Yes, it's the same thing.
And
Madhurya and Sringara is same.
Okay. And here they have given, okay, 7 and 5, 12. Thank you that much. Yes, thank you so much.
In Nectar of Devotion, if we get a chance to study, it goes in much detail in Nectar of Devotion, all these different rasas. Or different other Goswamis are given literature, so they explain in much detail. So when we study Nectar of Devotion, then we'll get into that.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
You're welcome. So any other question or comment? So I guess we should stop here then. Thank you all very much. I'll see you tomorrow then. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jai
Hare Krishna.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhupada.